Hey you! Want to watch a show supposedly set far far away yet has modern day hairstyles, and with writing so stupid characters contradict themselves in the span of a single 36-minute premiere episode?
If you attack a Jedi with a weapon, you will fail. Steel or laser are no threat to them.
Okay.
Want to witness a production that costs more than 10 times the budget of Godzilla Minus One, and yet is so cheap they have CGI that looks like this, and even have to double up and repeat the same crap episode from two different perspectives, and which thus must be some kind of money laundering operation for Disney at this point? Want to enjoy a show with an insufferable black female lead that's almost somehow worse than both Channel 5's Anne Boleyn and Canada's Robin Hood train wreck last year?
Pull up in this mess that we big. Robbing. We be robbing. Coming in hot.
No!
Well, have I got just the series for you, fella? For I give you The Acolyte! A series so profound, the main thing comes down to interracial lesbo space which is good, institutional organised space cops bad, whilst the highly skilled writers show off all their smarts, including the quality of their high school science diploma by unironically putting a fucking fire in space, their understanding of what makes Star Wars by introducing Kung Fu, not visiting a single desert planet and also making the Jedi so weak that a whole group of them can't take on one bloke in a Magneto hat, slapping god-awful modern-day pop songs over the end credits, and even also adapting their piss-poor Tumblr poetry into live action.
As above sits the stars, and below lies the sea, I give you you,
and you give me me.
Oh, good lord!
The series stars some sort of racist girl who loves making white people cry for some reason, aka Amanda Stenberg.
I said white people crying. What's the goal? Oh, that's why they mad at me.
In a dual role as May and Ocean, long-lost twins who were once separated in the fire as kiddies after a bunch of mostly peaceful Jedi turned up one day to say hi, and which somehow led to the deaths of a dozen lesbians, a prepubescent child, and the total destruction of an ancient temple.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
And now a grown-up May totally wants revenge on the fascist space cops what destroyed her entire community, parents and family life. So she's been taken in by a mysterious master fella who's taught her the ways of the dark side, and who's now grown up to be such a competent and effective assassin that she spends the opening of episode 2 beating up thin air and getting her ass handed to her by an unconscious floaty bloke, while somehow being so unthreatening that even alien space goblins laugh in her face when she tries to act tough.
Ooh, you're hard, showing off.
Also featuring iconic sci-fi actress Carrie-Anne Moss, and also that Squid Game fella, who apparently had 4 separate dialogue coaches for this role, and reportedly wore out his tongue practicing English so much he couldn't eat properly. Here is 2 Jedi Knights being hunted by the vengeful assassin and her master, while said master is played by that dopey Jason Mendoza fella from The Good Place, aka Manny Jacinto, also here playing a dual role, because he's first introduced as a lovable Asian scoundrel who's initially an unassuming local chemist, before being later revealed as the ultra-skilled and scheming mastermind, who effortlessly kills 8 or so nameless Jedi Knights, but is temporarily defeated by being kidnapped by a bunch of bugs. And although the internet sees him as some kind of budget Ezra Miller type fella, I can't really see it myself. Other than the long hair and the tendency to groom young girls and strangle small women, I suppose. Anyway, chock full of surprise cameos. From the likes of the first live-action Jedi Wookiee, what they did fuck all with except get possessed and die, Martian Manhunter and some creepy cave dweller called Darth Squatter I presume, some sort of oil-spunking Rudy porn robot what loves to give young women facials, and even that alien penis head bloke from the Phantom Menace back in the day. Star Wars The Acolyte is sci-fi fantasy soap opera cringe like you've never seen it before. Well, unless you've seen Star Wars Kenobi, Star Wars Arsesoaker, or even Star Wars The Book of Boba Fett. Yep, the series is a rip-roaring ride through highly original genre themes and tropes, like the need to find redemption for past mistakes, and also to defund the Jedi, given they just seem to create havoc and mass carnage wherever they go these days.
Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
Produced by local Sith Lord Kathleen Kennedy, whilst written and directed by showrunner Leslie Headland Land, Written and directed by showrunner Leslie Headland, the former personal assistant of veteran producer Harvey Weinstein, who brought a whole new meaning to being a couch potato. Shaw put her all into this project, and by her all, I don't just mean all of her nepotistic interests by casting her own bloody wife as a supporting character in her own show, and to play a feisty female alien with green skin, the lass who's unfortunately not as hot as the Marvel one, but instead poured all of her blood, sweat and tears into the franchise she's genuinely honestly loved for years, lol, trust me bro, and wisely stuck to writing about what she knows, hence why the story includes older male groomers in positions of power, endless lesbians and the instant deaths of Whitey in the first 2 episodes, and is presumably also why both protagonists seem to be narcissistic, insufferable killjoys who constantly lie and deceive all the time.
I'm better company than a droid.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Despite reviews ranging from relentlessly mediocre to the worst thing that has ever happened to Star Wars, and got so bad that Rotten Tomatoes had to briefly hide their entire section of audience reviews, which was later blamed on as a glitch because reasons.
These aren't the
reviews
you're looking for.
The series was a smash hit with critics and fans alike. Well, if by smash hit you mean smash your fists against the wall and hit your nearest Baby Yoda plushie, given how law-breaking and confusing this show is, and what's full of such wider franchise consistency that a small knife through the heart can kill a Jedi stone dead in this series, but a giant fuck of lightsaber goes right through someone's chest are then totally fine in the Obi-Wan show and shit.
Fuck you!
Which is sad, because although the series unfortunately demonstrates Kathleen Kennedy's
"put a chicken in and make a lemon gay"
philosophy as satirised by South Park last year, the show does at least attempt to ask deep philosophical questions about human nature. Like, will men ever be able to just let women live on their own in peace? Or at least ever be able to rid ourselves of literal white guilt? And will humanity ever stop unnecessarily chopping down innocent trees in quiet forests for fuck's sake?
What have you done? What have you done? What have you done?
Yes, Disney, what have you bloody done? Ultimately, The Acolyte is a series which has probably been a bit of an L for the Disney Corp, who spent $180 million to see actors take a hike on a soundstage and for episodes that are nothing more than a glorified walking simulator for the best part of their runtime. As the series was filled with such bland and predictable writing, that even its own characters are surprised when others in the show hadn't guessed the painfully obvious twist.
You really didn't know it was me. Not even deep down?
And not content with lazily rehashing other superior franchises by having characters disapparated Harry Potter style into Lost-type smoke monsters for example, or by hiring Carrie-Anne Moss to use force powers and martial arts skills and thereby basically getting her to reprise her role of Trinity before being immediately killed off in the first 5 minutes of the premiere, yet still ended up being better than the entirety of Matrix 4 to be fair. Disney's approach to screenwriting and coherent storytelling can be hilariously summed up by the villain's approach to rules.
Rules, rules, rules. If you never follow them, you never have to break them.
So, what's the verdict? Can I recommend this series? Well, depends on if you can stomach the complete and total nerfing of the once badass and powerful Jedi, who are now so incompetent they get themselves force-pulled into humiliatingly fatal shish kebabs and fooled by young girls giving themselves impromptu haircuts to conceal their true identity, the cynical inclusion of the obligatory cute creature Basil and the obligatory cute droid Pip just to flog a bit of merch, jarringly choppy editing and episodes that abruptly end mid-scene for some reason, hilariously overt yet basic symbolism where good characters wear white and bad characters wear black to announce their turn to whichever side they've arbitrarily chosen, god-awful acting where performers can't even squeeze out a tear over their recently deaded mama, and endless cringy chanting by a coven of interracial lesbo space witches.
Power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
God, that should really be the power of Manny, given actor Manny Jacinto carries this entire freaking show on his back.
Nice.
But at the end of the day, I suggest making your own mind up about this series, where a cult of communal women minding their own business all die horribly just because an Asian child kidnapper desperately wants to traffic a minor away across the galaxy to be his apprentice or some shit. So I guess you just need to ask yourself a few questions. Have you always wondered what would happen if $1 billion company just handed a pot of cash to their feminist diversity hires and told them to write up their amateur fanfiction? Do Do you want an update on the current state of the Hollywood acting industry, where a Korean actor is able to humiliate and run rings around Western ones, despite having to sound out his lines phonetically and barely having a clue what he's even saying in English? Or do you just want to witness yet another legacy franchise get skin-suited with political messaging in order to push a totally forced and insultingly tiresome agenda? Just like modern day Star Trek, Doctor Who and even True Detective earlier this year. Well, if so, then Disney Star Wars The Acolyte, my friend, is the series for you.